Scott, thanks so much for stopping by and seeing us here at CBT News and spending a few minutes with us. You know, Autobytel, a name everybody has known and trusted, you know, over the almost 2 decades now, and which is incredible. From your perspective, talk to us a little bit about how the industry has changed and what changes that you've seen over now almost 20 years.
Sure. Well, lots changed in the past. You know, let's start back 18 years ago. When we first opened our doors, consumers were coming to us by way of television and telephone, hence the name Autobytel, a phone.
Sure.
Very quickly we adapted to the internet, which was taken off in the mid-90s. And as of recent, you know, more and more people continue to go online, to do their research online. Back 15, 20 years ago, the consumer has no other option but to do their research and shopping at dealerships. And they visited a lot of dealerships. And again, with the behavior going online today, that's what we're trying to get in front of, specifically mobile or what have you. The way in which a consumer buys a car hasn't changed that much. Let's face it, they still need to go to the dealership to buy that vehicle.
Absolutely.
But again, the way in which they shop continues to change.
Yeah, no question about it. In your opinion, what can dealers do to adapt or capitalize on that behavior?
Being online, having not only a presence but a strategy, both a strategy on the website and a mobile strategy. Let's talk about the website real quick. You know, as a consumer gets on a lot of a dealership, the dealership has a process in place to make the most out of that that experience. That consumer being on the lot, that dealer knows that that consumer is on the lot, and they know how to capitalize on that behavior. When the consumer goes to the website, does a dealership have those same processes in place to capture the consumer? So consumers don't come to the virtual lot, their website,
for sure,
shop around and then just leave, because that wouldn't happen on their physical lot. Why have it happen on the virtual lot? So recently we teamed up with a company out of Midtown Manhattan, Sailmove, just a few months ago. And they bring to us a product. We have the exclusive on this product, and we've been offering it to our dealers. We've gotten great feedback. And basically the product is called Sailmove. And it's the ability for dealers to communicate and engage with consumers while they're on their website. So you're probably thinking, okay, chat does that today. Well, chat's evolved over the past couple months. And it gives the dealers the benefit of having that chat. So whether it's typing back and forth. But the key is to improve upon the conversation, to escalate the conversation to either voice or video. No different than if we were to do FaceTime on our iPhones. And to go one step further, the dealer has the ability to see the consumer has the ability to see the dealer. A lot of consumers will want to win that trust first, so maybe the dealer just turns on their camera, but they're building that relationship as they would do on the lot. And to take it one step further, the dealer also has the ability to co-navigate with that consumer.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
So if the consumer is looking for maybe a special piece of inventory or an online credit app, with the consumer's permission, that dealer could co-browse just on that dealer website. And co-browse with the consumer. It's really cool.
Wow, that sounds like it.
So again, the net is taking that offline experience and moving it online, because if the consumer's online, you still need to make that relationship before you start talking about price or anything like that.
Oh, no question,
Establish the relationship and take it from there.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. It sounds very exciting, very cutting edge. I mean, dealers are still trying to get their hands around, how to handle all of this digital things that are out in the digital space. That is without a doubt something that sounds really cool for dealers to be able to communicate, at that level, with the consumers. What are the trends, from Autobytel, do you see that are out there and that are kind of formulating among, behavioral habits and what have you with consumers?
One word: mobile.
So
we just talked about the dealer desktop. So if you've got your dealership taken care of, you've got your dealership desktop taken care of, really the third ingredient is, and the most important ingredient is mobile.
Yeah, that's what we hear.
Everybody's going mobile. And I'm not so much talking about Gen X, Gen Y. Sure, they're mobile savvy. When I need to get in touch with my mother in Fort Lauderdale, I don't call her, I don't email her, I text her, and I get a text right back. Everybody's going mobile. These are the same consumers that might be on a desktop during the day at work, but at night they're on their tablets. On the weekends when they're traveling and going from dealership to dealership, they're on their iPhones. So having a mobile strategy. So what that means is when a consumer goes to a dealer's mobile site, that there's a strategy in place, not only to show your inventory and all that, not only to get directions, not only to call you, but to communicate. And we found text is obviously the popular avenue.
Yeah, no question.
we had an acquisition a couple months ago, a company, Advanced Mobile, out of Pennsylvania. And we very quickly got these products to our dealers and are talking to our dealers about it. And one specifically is a text lead product.
Okay.
The product we have is called Text Leads.
Okay.
And it allows the consumers to text into the dealership. And it goes to a centralized hub. It's a web-based hub, and where the dealers communicate via text.
Okay.
They can actually type it and it turns into a text, or they can text because it's web-based. They can go right on their phones.
Cool. Okay.
And it's a great way to capture the conversation, push it to the CRM.
Right.
So that it's not the wild, wild west where everybody's just walking around the dealership texting consumers where there's no history of those conversations.
Sure, sure.
And we feel if we give the dealers the ability for the text to come in where they're just responding, they already know that the consumer wants to communicate via text because they texted in. Sure. And we're getting a lot of great feedback on that as well.
From your opinion, do you see that dealers should really start to perhaps train everyone in the front end of the store with regard to taking leads online and texting with customers that are out there wanting information, or do you think there should still be a BDC center and then a sales center?
That's a great question, and that answer continues to change. So 10, 12, 13 years ago, there was the internet consumer, and then there was the walk-in consumer.
Right, sure.
And there were internet departments that consisted of 1 or 2 or sometimes even 3 people.
Yeah.
Today, it's safe to say everybody's an internet consumer.
I know, it's no question that we've got customers, or we've got, I should say, dealers that will write into us and say that they're moving their entire sales staff now over to everyone having a laptop or a computer in front of them, communicating with the customers and the ups, I should say, that are coming in. The digital customers that's either chatting or sending in requests for numbers or what have you, and they have the whole sales staff doing it.
You've got to assume if you're a dealer that consumer, even the consumers walking in your front door, have been on the internet.
Yeah,
so to answer your question specifically, yes.
Sure, it sounds like those tools would help in that case in a big way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question about it. What about the sites that provide consumers with transactional sales information? That's kind of the big thing out there.
Sure.
And so what should they expect, to pay for cars and all of that dealers are, I think half the dealer body out there is comfortable with it and the other half's very, very nervous about it.
Yes.
So from your perspective, where do you stand on that, and what's your feeling on something like that?
So I'll back up about 18 years. Autobytel was founded by a dealer. We still to this day have dealer DNA. We pride ourselves off of that. And although we need the consumer to submit the lead to ultimately have a product, the dealer is our consumer. The dealer is our customer. The dealer is our client. So we feel that there's a place for price to be given. We don't give price. We don't tell a consumer if they're getting a good deal or a bad deal. We really feel that that's left up to the dealer.
Right.
We feel that the first and the most important thing to take place is a relationship. If there's a relationship in place, that's number 1. Number 2, you've got to make sure you're talking about the right car. Because the majority of the consumers that come to the dealership ultimately end up buying something different than they initially intended.
Yeah.
So
it always happens.
With the relationship in place, and assuring that you're on the right vehicle that fits the needs of the consumer, then and only then we feel price should take place. And again, we leave that up to the dealer. The dealers are the experts, and the dealer should have the empowerment to discuss with a consumer on a specific car and negotiate a price if needed.
Yeah, sure. I know Autobytel, they're in the press, they're acquiring companies, they're doing some phenomenal things right now. Any big announcements at NADA coming from Autobytel that we should be looking for? Or?
Well, we'd love to see all of our dealers, and we actually just had an acquisition this week where we acquired a longtime competitor, Auto USA.
Okay,
so
good.
There's a lot going on, and we're excited. It's an exciting time.
Well, perhaps we can have you back on the show after NADA. You can talk more about it and share with us what the plans are with that company moving forward.
I'd love to.
Okay, great. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.